Welcome back for the next tutorial video. Um, so the last mission we put a probe into a equatorial orbit, and we'll see what missions we have available today. So we should have a few more after completing that one. One I already saw in the last video, so I was just showing within the tracking station what you can see. And one that I already seen highlighted is position satellite in a polar orbit of Kerbal. So it's very similar to the last one, as in the same vehicle. So it's just an unmanned probe with an antenna that can generate power. So yeah, instead of it being an equatorial orbit, it's going to be a polar orbit. Okay, so it's a bit trickier, but we'll do it as well. Okay, because why not? Get the extra money, get the extra reputation. So let me accept that, and we'll go straight to it. Now I'm actually going to use the exact same vehicle. I might as well. If I can find it. Where is it? So that was the probe 1. There we go, probe 1. But this is going to be a polar orbit. I'm just going to call this one the Northern Star 1. Or Northern Probe. Why not? Or Northern Relay. Northern Relay 1. Let's call it that. Exact same. Haven't changed anything of the vehicle. I'm going to use the exact same vehicle. I'm going to make a slight difference though, because our takeoff is going to be different. Because we're not going along the equatorial orbit this time, we're going on a northern orbit. Okay, so rather than starting off and then going east, we're going 0 degrees or 360 degrees. So, and to make the launch feel the same, I'm actually just going to turn this whole thing by 90 degrees if I can. Like so. Yeah, there we go. So I've turned it by 90 degrees so that when we launch, we're still taking a right turn, but the right turn instead of going east is going to end up taking us north. Now, of course, I could just push upwards instead, but might as well keep the flight the same. Okay, run relay. Let's save that, and we are go for launch. Now, the reaction to this one is going to be different. Okay, so previously when we've launched, so previously when we've made a launch, when we take off, we just end up heading around the planet, going east. The planet's already moving east. Okay, so me taking off going east means I'm going to end up in the exact same orbit as the planet anyway. Now that I'm going in a northern orbit, or I've got a designated area that I have to go, I have to pick my launch window at the correct time. The easiest way of doing this, I'm just going to eyeball it, and I can see here by looking at this circle, yeah, it wants me to launch this way around the circle, so this way around. This is the way it wants me to go. Make sure when you're doing this launch that you check for this, because if you end up launching the other way and spinning around the other way of it, it counts as a complete failure. You have to be going in the exact same orbit as it's expecting from you. Same as like when I went around the equatorial orbit, that could have been an opposite orbit as well, but that's not what it was asking. It wanted me to go around east around the planet. In this case, it wants me to go, well, from this position north around the planet, so that's what I'll be doing. The way I do that, so as you can see here on the planet, so if one thing I'm going to do to make sure that my battery doesn't deplete in it shouldn't, no, I don't think. Yeah, I'm using a bit of battery, so let me just a moment at least block the battery of the Probodobodyne itself. So what you'll see is, so there I've got the line, I can see it wants me to go this way around the planet, okay? So what I'll be wanting to do is once I get closest to this line, so perpendicular to this line, so I'll launch north. If I was on the opposite side of the planet, I could launch south, but I'm just going to do the northern side for now. So as you can see, if I speed up time a little, you'll see I'm spinning around the planet. Right, so that's me now on the southern side of the planet. So yeah, underneath that line. So if you look now, underneath this line, if I wanted to launch now, I would have to launch south, so that when I was going to try and catch up this line, that I go south around that. I'm going to do a northern start, so I'll wait till I turn around all the way around the planet again. As you can see, the way I'm doing is I'm getting closest to the point where I'm trying to go, so that my periapsis is over here. Right, so you see the periapsis is here. So to get to that, I'm going to make sure I turn all the way around the planet, so that when I launch, I'm pretty much the same angle as they're expecting. Okay, so it's kind of similar like doing an equatorial launch, only the planet turns, in this case the planet turns in the same direction. To the northern side it doesn't. So I want to make sure that I'm at the point, so because if I was to launch here, just going north, so if I was on this side of the planet, for example, and launched north, I would end up with a periapsis going so this way around the planet rather than, so yeah, I'd be going around the planet here, around this way, but I want to make sure that I'm in this circle and not in a circle like here. So I want to launch at the right time to be able to get this angle. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add to my time. You might notice my battery went back up. That's probably because I'm in the sun. That's exactly what it is. The sun rises in the east, so I'm getting extra power. So I'm going to keep going around the sun until I reach the the point that I can go on a northern orbit comfortably. Let's look at my time. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's close enough. I mean, I'm going to have to do corrections. I mean, from the last one, I have enough fuel to make corrections. I'm happy with that. Okay, so now when I take off, turn on my SAS, if it lets me. It's not letting me. It's because I don't have enough charge. I think I don't have enough charge. It's fine, that's why I did turn this off. Why is it not letting me unblock? That's annoying. Yeah, the battery's that low, or the battery's depleted that much that I don't even have the option to switch back on the electric charge. Okay, lesson learned. So I know, yeah, this thing is so far depleted that I can't even switch it on. I don't have enough power in the battery to even switch on the other battery anymore. Okay, that's one thing you have to watch out in space. It doesn't happen, because when that happens, yeah, that's not great. Now usually, if I accelerate or use anything, like using a liquid engine will refill the battery, but at this point I'm fully depleted to a point that I cannot even turn the vehicle on anymore. That's okay, we haven't left the airfield. I could technically just wait a little bit, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to revert flight, because it was just me showing you guys so you could see how it works. So I've been sitting here for 6 hours, so that's why the battery is depleted. So I'll go back to launch, because I'll have full battery then. I'm going to launch at the point I was just showing you. I was just went around the planet a few times there so you could see when the optimal launch is when you're launching on a northern, or yeah, on a polar launch. So where my ship is sitting at the moment isn't even that bad. I might wait a little longer, but not too long actually. A few more. Keep an eye on the battery as well, because I don't want to drain it. There we go, that should be enough. So I waited a few minutes, I think, and at this point, yeah, so I can see, okay, I have to head north. Okay, at this point I think my ship is ready. Full throttle activated, put it a bit down, and let's go. Again, the reason I turned the ship makes things easier. Launching the same as always, same protocol. making a right turn, makes things easier for visuals. The only difference is I'm seeing a different angle now, but the flight itself doesn't change. These two, and go. Try and make sure I stay on the northern flight. And accelerate. Let's go. Let's do this. Changing the view is kind of cool as well, so it's pretty decent. Start turning it. Probably should have done so a little sooner, but that's okay. I've got the fuel to waste. Kerbals are not that far into global climate change stuff yet as we are. They're still in the early years of space flight and stuff, so they should be alright. Okay, interesting enough, you can see the circle here is not showing quite north as I possibly want it. So we could have a quick look and see what's happening. Yeah, see, it's not facing quite as north as I'd like it, so I'll face a bit further this way to get this line back to north, I think. Right, how's this loop looking? Okay, that's terrible. It's a terrible shape. Well, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great. Let's have a look at this line. Ah, it's looking okay. Let's just hope we leave the atmosphere soon enough, which we should do, I think. How high are we? 64. Yeah, we're getting there. That's okay. I say terrible. There's nothing wrong with this. I was just, yeah, I'm a bit too high for what I want distance-wise, but terrible is a strong word there. Okay, as you can see now, my direction I'm facing is sort of along the line that I'm planning to get to. There will be a few corrections. I'm kind of happy with it so far. Right, once I reach my apoapsis, I want to accelerate in such a way that I end up with a full orbit. Like so. Again, when you see these on the sides rather across each other and you know they're approximately the same, you can always play around to get the exact. But again, it's going to be close enough for now. 102, 97, yes, that's fine. If I adjust this a little bit, you'll then see that's 51, that's too far. 73, 127, play around with it a bit, 98, 101, yeah, that's close enough. That's almost circular. So I've got 26 second burn. That means at minus t minus 13, I'll want to start my burn in the direction of our target, which is this one here. It's going to require a bigger burn than the previous one. I'm not even going to quite make that burn. Interesting. That's okay. There you go. Did it a bit late, but oh well. Yeah, see, I'm already coming down. That's okay. Not the end of the world. Pop that off and accelerate with this one, and done. There we go. Now let's have a look at this line in comparison to the line that I have to do. See, it's okay, but it's slightly off. So if I look at my descending node or ascending node, it says I'm off by 5 degrees or minus 5. Okay, so that's something I'm going to want to correct. Now the way I do this, similar as with the moon, is I try and figure out, let's see if I can, let's try and figure out where this ascending or descending node is, so get in between it. And see with this one, when you're with the moon and you're trying to target the moon, you can target it. You can press this and then you can target that line that you're going for. With this one you can't. So the way I tend to do it is I just look where my line is and take the descending and ascending, kind of put them together on the camera and look at where they are approximately, where they're touching. And I click in there and add maneuver. Okay. What I want to do is I want to try and match this line. So I have to kind of look, see which direction I'd have to turn to get that. That's the wrong way, so it's the other way. Like so, probably. That line, I've had to see. See that I used this motion here, and that's kind of turned my line from there to it there. That looks like it's kind of matching the line that they're expecting. Once I get to this point, I'll have turned that in the direction I have to go anyway. And while I'm accelerating or decelerating what I have to do, I'll be looking at this and following this degree number of the deviation to make sure I can match it. I'm afraid that's probably not the best explanation, but that's what I'm going to do. I've kind of pointed out, as I said, so I looked at where it's showing me the ascending node and the descending node, put them together as close as I can, and on my own track, clicked it right in the middle of those two, and then by eyeballing it, I've actually turned the line in such a way from the deviation that I had off to one direction, so it's pretty much in the same line as that one. And then once I get to that area, I will accelerate in that direction until this 5 degree turns into the number I need it to be, which is 0 degree. Could be an easier way of doing it. That's the way I do it. I think that's the easiest way of doing it, but just by eyeballing it. No calculations, none of that nonsense. That's not what we're here for. Right, I've got enough power. Turn my ship in the direction I need it, like so. Skip time. Right, saying all it needs is a 5-second burn anyway, so I'm not going to do a full throttle burn. I'm just going to ease on it, ease on and off it till I get the height I'm after. Right, it's 58 seconds. So where's the node? So the node is here. So I could probably even start now. See, it's already changing. It's now at 4. Acceleration going. 3. 2. 1. It's going to reach 0 soon enough. 0. That's it. There we go. That might seem like a long burn, but I was literally I was using maybe 5% power. And now that brought me in to the line, or aligned me with where my mission wants me to be. So my descending node and ascending node, they're now at 0. So perfect. So from this point onwards, I'm now in the exact same northern shape, or the polar orbit as the foreseen mission. Okay, so now very similar as in the previous mission. What I'll do is I'll look at where my apoapsis and the periapsis is that's expected of me. Now I can start with either one. Where's my drone at the moment? And it's going which direction? It's going downwards. So the next one I'm going to hit, I'm going to go perpendicular of the apoapsis. So pretty much on this side. Let's see if I go between the two of these. So I look at my periapsis and my apoapsis, the middle, right about here. So yeah, right about here. So once I reach this height-ish. Again, this is all ish. That's all it has to be. You don't need to start calculating stuff in this game as much. It's all about getting a bit of a feel for it. So once I reach this point, I want to start accelerating. Okay, so acceleration will start until I reach my apoapsis. See, I'm a bit higher, so all I do is start looking at this whole circle and adjusting it to match this apoapsis. Slow down slightly. There we go. And to me, that's fucking proper bang on. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And that is in 2 minutes and 57 seconds, 20-second burn. So T minus 10 seconds is when I'll start, half of my burn time. Let's skip time a bit. Not just going to skip that much, but okay, timer complete. Turn my ship to the position I want it in. There we go. Let me speed up time slightly. Always be careful doing this. I don't recommend doing this. And boom, accelerate. Okay, apparently I've deviated quite a bit actually. One way I could do it, I could wait till I'm all the way out, but I'm just going to turn all the way around and accelerate the other way, but slow acceleration. So I've turned my ship all the way around, 180 degrees, opposite direction, and I will stop once I hit my apoapsis. So I must have overshot it, put too much thrust into it, did something went slightly wrong, but that's why you go into this and then you have another look, and you could see that I'd overshot it slightly. But now I'm on the right track, so I'm very close to the expected apoapsis. And so what I'll do now is I will wait until I reach this apoapsis. I can already add another maneuver to it. And on this apoapsis I will accelerate around it until I reach, oh, went a bit over it, until I reach the expected periapsis. Something like that. Again, they're not expecting you to get it 100% correct. It's, yeah, within deviation. What you can do is, once you fly into it and you notice, okay, something's still not right, you just try and position your periapsis as close to the periapsis, or your apoapsis as close to the apoapsis. Just make sure you have it as close as possible. Same as with the node, the ascending node and the descending node. Just make sure you get them all as close as possible. Then eventually it will complete the mission for you. Okay, so I've done that. It's saying, yeah, so this is now going to have to fly for 5 hours around Kerbal, or 5.5 hours around Kerbal, till it reaches the designated area. The thing that I would fear at this point is that my electric charge will burn out by then, so I will make sure I position my ship in such a way that it's got the sunlight. Now the sun appears to be behind the Earth at the moment, or behind Kerbin. Let's have a look. Facing it, yeah, so it's just above the horizon, or above the planet. So if I have a look, where is my solar panel? There it is. So if I face it towards the sun, just like that, okay, speed up time a little bit, go around Earth, and voila, I should be charging. I've got 5 hours to go in this position, so I'm just going to skip my time. I'm not going to wait 5 hours. You can just see the Earth disappearing in the background. Goodbye. So as you can see, this is this probe was also put way further distance in space than the previous one. I don't think the other one was as far out as this. However, you see, like, I'm still on just one tank. A tank like this will last you quite a bit. Okay, even though I've been doing deviations and all that. Like, once you're in space, you can go quite the distance, quite easily. Okay, right, so give me a sec, let's make sure I get this all right. Okay, there's my real shape that I'm doing right now. That's my actual orbit, and the one that I'm planning is this one, and it's also the planned orbit, what they expect of me to do. It's actually quite close to the moon. It's going to be an inside. It's going to be inside of the moon. This is actually, yeah, quite interesting. So 8-second burn. Turn the ship in which direction it has to be, which is, yeah, direction won't be going anyway. So it's 8-second burn total. So we want to start T minus 4 seconds beforehand, so that we burn all the way through to plus 4 seconds. There we go. Accelerate. You can see this orbit is growing. Stop. As you can see, it's slightly over, so it may not count. So I'll go backwards. I want it a bit fast, so I'll very, very slightly slow down. Very slightly. Like so. Oh, okay, I didn't have to. Contract complete. So again, the deviation within deviation is very well done in this game. So, or very well done. What I mean is, you can deviate quite a bit, so you don't have to worry about screwing up. Yeah. If you notice within 10 seconds you've not done it, then yeah, there's something off by quite a bit, or by a few thousand kilometers or something like that. So just make sure, even just by small little pumps of energy, you'll be able to get into that orbit that's requested. One thing I'll do in this thing now as well, make sure I turn it in such a way that it has, yeah, so it's facing that. I'm actually going to do this differently than in the last video. So rather than block the probodobodyne, because I can see once the probodobodyne is locked, you can't unlock it if any other batteries are empty. So I'm going to lock the battery instead, so the probodobodyne is always charged and always active. And if not, I can hopefully open that. I hope so. I hope that's the way it works. It used to work that way. And I will extend my antenna so that I can always receive information from Earth or wherever, aliens, whatever. And in this case, I think this ship, for now, has done its bit. Mission is complete. Double check. Yeah, mission complete. Contract complete. You can delete that. And with that, I can go back to the Space Center. Now, once you go back to Space Center, so like if you've done a flight and you've made a mistake, once you went to Space Center, that flight is you're no longer able to revert that flight. Okay, so if you've made a mistake, you notice during your flight, from the moment you've taken off up to that point, you notice you made a mistake, you can always revert your flight and back to the previous state it was in. If you leave that flight, like I've done now, and then go back to it, you can no longer revert it. That flight is now complete, or is now, so to say, accepted, or yeah, it's valid, and I can't change that anymore. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. See you all soon.